Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? I hope and pray that you all will be fine, inshallah. Again, we are here with the same topic, fishing industry. That is very much informative topic for all of us. And the topic has been taken from your book, The Environment of Pakistan. This is Unit 6. And the topic which we were discussing, that was subsistence fishing. Now we are coming to commercial fishing. So first we'll discuss that what is commercial fishing. If we talk about the definition, that commercial fishing is the activity of catching fish and other seafood for commercial purposes, that is profit. So an industry that is devoted to the harvesting and selling of fish, shellfish or other aquatic animals is considered as commercial fishing. It means commercial fishing, the taking of fish and other seafood and resources from oceans, rivers and lakes for the purposes of marketing them. In this form of fishing, the fish is sold in the market. A number of fishing communities depend on fishing as the sole source of their income. Main centers of commercial fishing. There are two main centers of commercial fishing, Karachi and Gwadar. The Sindh coast is the most important and accounts for nearly 68% of the total marine catch. We have discussed that Sindh coast is most important marine fishing center specifically for commercial fishing. Now we'll see that why it is so. Basically, there are some factors which are very much supportive for the development of fishing industry in Sindh coast. These factors are nature as well as some physical factors are also working over there. The first one is that Sindh coast has numerous creeks, shattered harbors, and a wide shallow sea beyond. We'll see that we'll discuss the creeks, shattered harbors, and wide shallow sea. These are the geographical terms which are being used over here. The next factor is that it has the advantage of a wider continental shelf than the Makran coast. So a wider continental shelf is also a major supportive factor because Makran coast has a narrow continental shelf. The next one is the Indus Delta is rich in fish food, much of which is brought down to the delta by the river Indus. Because when river Indus flows throughout Pakistan, so it brings alluvium with that, and as well as that water when comes into in Arabian Sea, it is rich in fish food that is very much important for the development and for the growth of fisheries in this area. So it has better export and processing facilities, that is a physical factor, that storage facility, preservation and freezing facilities are available over here. This is comparatively more developed part of coastal area of Pakistan. We have discussed some geographical terms while discussing the factors which are favorable for fishing industry in Sindh coast. The first one is Sea Creek. So as you are observing from these given pictures that sea creeks are narrow inlets of fresh water or salt water, which can be tidal and which cannot be tidal as well. So these are the inlets of water towards fresh water or towards sea water, and these are very favorable for the growth of fish in these areas. Next is sheltered harbors. So, sheltered harbor is a body of water that is sheltered by natural or artificial barriers. So, a harbor is a sheltered body of water where ships, boats, and barges can be docked. So, barges are long, flat bottom boats for carrying freight on canals and rivers as well as in sea also. So a sheltered part of a body of water deep enough to provide anchorage for ships is considered as sheltered harbor. So shallow sea. Now we'll see that which is shallow sea. Shallow sea, as you're observing from these pictures, that refers to the area between the shore and deeper water having little depth. So it means that is not very much deep. So that is a part of sea, not very deep, but that is adjacent to beach. So you can see that the ocean or sea is not very much deep, that is closer to the coastal area. So now we'll see that what is continental shelf. As you have seen shallow sea. So the part of shallow sea is considered as continental shelf with the reference to the floor of ocean. So floor of ocean starts from coastal area, but at that part it is considered as continental shelf because continental shelf is a shallow submarine plain forming a border to a continent. As you're observing from the picture, that area adjacent to coast that is considered as continental shelf. Then next is continental slope. Then next is continental rise and the actual ocean floor is there. So a continental shelf is a portion of a continent that is submerged under an area of relatively shallow water known as a shelf sea. A continental shelf is the edge of a continent that lies under the ocean. Now we will see that which are the techniques being used in commercial fishing, specifically in Pakistan. In Pakistan, commercial fishing, traditional sailboats and fish nets are already being used, but new techniques in fishing are also being used, like gill netters and mechanized boats. These two methods have made it possible to fish 50 to 60 km from the coast in deep sea waters. But in traditional sailboats, these boats can only go up to 5 kilometers off the shore. So there is a big difference in the usage of traditional sailboats and fish nets and gill netters and mechanized boats. And traditional sailboats are still widely used. We cannot deny their utility and we cannot deny their importance as well. But modern techniques are also being used. Now we'll see that commercial fishing in Sindh and Makran coast. In Sindh coast, specifically in Karachi, the government has developed the Kurangi fish harbour with storage and packing facilities are available to fishermen. And in Makran coast, that is slowly being developed with improved facilities, for example, for docking of sailboats, handling of the catch, preservation and storage. Almost all the communities on the coast of Balochistan depend on fishing for their livelihood. Among Balochi fishing families, children learn the skills early in life and everyone lends a hand with the day's work. That is a good thing. Although the Balochistan seawater is rich in fish, fishermen are able to catch only limited amounts of fish because of their conventional and traditional methods. Recently, infrastructure facilities have been provided at Gawada, Ormara, and Pasni fish harbors, which will help to increase the catch. We have discussed docking of sailboats in Makran coast. So we'll see what is docking. Docking of sailboats mean landing in a harbor next to a pier where ships are loaded and unloaded are repaired. So what is a pier? Pier means a platform, a structure where ships are loaded and unloaded or repaired. So we'll see that what are gill netters. Gill netters are boats equipped for or engaged in fishing with gill nets, or a person who fishes with a gill net, that is also considered as gill netcher. So a boat or a person that use gill nets are called as gill netters. So what is gill netting? That is a fishing method that uses gill nets. Now we'll see what are gill nets. As you can see from the picture, that gill net is a fishing net which is hung vertically so that fish get trapped in it by their gills. A gill net is used by fishermen throughout the world as well as in Pakistan to catch various species of fish. The nets may be used in salt or fresh water. Trawl nets. Trolling is a method of fishing that involves pulling a fishing net through the water behind one or more boats. The net used for trolling is called a trawl. Trawl nets are shaped like a cone or funnel with a wide opening to catch fish and a narrow closed cord end. Trawls can be used at various depths. Like you can see that a big ship is also using trawl net, and the shape of trawl can also be seen in this picture. Students, now this is time for worksheet. Question number 1. Let's study the given figure and answer the following questions. You need to define commercial fishing. The answer is given in your book, and more comprehensive answers also available in your video lesson. Next question is, name the two main centers of commercial fishing in Pakistan. You will tell that which are two important main centers of commercial fishing. The next question is question number 2, part 1. Pakistan coastline is divided into two parts, Makran and Sindh coast. You will discuss the factors accounts for the development of fishing along the Sindh coast. You will recall those factors which are favorable for the development of fishing in Sindh coast, like shallow sea, then sheltered harbors were there, then continental shelf, etc. Next question is, give a brief description of sheltered harbor by observing the given picture. So you will describe what is sheltered harbor. Next question is, which are the techniques being used in commercial fishing in Pakistan? You will discuss over here the techniques which are being used in commercial fishing. Some traditional techniques are also being used, and mostly the modern methods and techniques are also being used. Over here you will mention those techniques and detail of those techniques also. Thank you so very much, students. That's all for today. May Allah bless all of you. Allah Hafiz. Have a very nice day ahead.